pandemic tried.
I tried and failed,
Yeah.
you know, like...
Which, yeah, like, I figured we could take a little trip down memory lane here for a second. So we started this in 2018.
Good Lord.
So
We're just babies.
Yeah, right? Babes in the woods of the podcasting world. But, you know, and we did have a gap in there for 2020 where we didn't record and put anything out.
Yeah, you could say we had a bit of a gap.
Yeah, but that still means we've been doing this for like 3 years.
Yeah.
Ish. I don't know. I think we started at the end of 2018.
With fits and starts here and there, but yeah, I mean, like, pretty solidly for 3 years, you know.
Yeah, it's just wild to look back and think about all the things that have happened, and, you know, like, you've got a new career now, like... I got married in the midst of all of this.
Fucking A.
Yeah, like, I started baking French macarons.
Oh, indeed you did.
Well, I successfully baked some, and I've been fucking them up lately, but I'll get there.
Oh, it turns out gift wrapping was my sourdough. Like,
yeah, right?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah, it's just cool that, like, we're still here doing it. We've still got stories to tell, and I don't know, that we're just doing this after all this time.
Dude, fucking cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers to that. Yeah, so how have you been lately?
Lately, not bad. You know, I mean, I'm having some, like, old man aches and pains, but, like, other than that, like, fucking Elden Ring just came out, and I'm cracking out on a fucking sick video game for the first time in a while.
Dude,
and, like,
yeah.
You know, yeah, I'm digging my job, fucking...
I feel the old man thing. I just officially turned 40, and, you know, we threw a nice little shindig for that.
Hell yeah, we did. That was too much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, man. God, yeah. But yeah, feeling the creaks a little bit.
Oh, and how?
But I think a bit of that's some pandemic creaks. I need to get back out in the world and exercise a little more and function a little more, and just spending a lot of time at home.
Hey, man, like, we all thought, you know, but everyone says this, obviously, but we all thought we were going to be out of the woods in, like, 2 months tops, you know?
Yep.
So.
Just, my life for the last 2 years has been a series of, like, just 2 more months. Just 2 more months. This has got to be over soon, right? It's got to be over soon, yeah.
Oh, my God, just 2 more months. You can do this, right?
Well, you know, once we start our own convoy of trucks, you know, maybe we can finally put an end to this thing. You know, am I right? Like, we'll finally fucking get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, because Occupy worked, you know.
Right.
Like, clearly. Let's fucking make this happen.
Yeah, so we'll call up all our trucker friends, you know, and we'll do it.
Cut up.
Yeah. So we wanted to do a number of fun things for this 100th episode, like, obviously a live show would have been ideal, but that's still not happening. Like, I imagine by this summer maybe we can pull one off. So,
I mean, fingers crossed. I feel like we said that last year too, but, like,
right?
You know, yeah, I'm hoping that by this summer I will feel safe breathing not strangers, but just other people's air, fucking, you know.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Without having to think about it too fucking much.
Yep. By the time this comes out, the mask restrictions will have been lifted in Oregon, and I think pretty much all 50 states at that point. So,
sure. You know,
whether that's the correct thing to do or just absolute pure fucking boredom. Boredom of the pandemic, of just, like, people giving up, I guess. I don't know.
You know, like,
I honestly don't know.
At this point, I'm so exhausted that I'm not going to offer a strong argument either way. But, like, I feel like we've just been doing this fucking seesaw thing where it's like, all right, we got to kowtow to the fucking idiots, so, like, masks are going away, and then it's like, oh shit, everyone's gonna die, bring the mask back, oh fuck.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, cool, like, yeah, hospitals aren't overrun right now. Pretty sure that's because we've all been wearing masks, but, like, what do I fucking know?
Well, you know, and people are getting vaccinated, so it turns out that's working as intended.
Sure. No, and that's great. You know, like, I would love to see everyone get fucking vaccinated. Like, please, just get the fucking shot already.
Just do it.
But, also, like, let's be fucking real. Like, the rest of the world isn't vaccinated, and, like,
yeah,
tons of weird shit's happening. Like, the deer are full of fucking COVID, and, like, we've had one recorded breakthrough case. So, and like, it has been mutating like crazy out there apparently. So,
yeah,
like this is a fucking anybody's scenario kind of anybody's game kind of scenario.
But,
like,
I mean, probably like 2 more months of this. I mean, if I had to guess.
Yeah. 2 more months without masks? I feel like that's a safe bet, and then we're going to have to put them back on. Yeah, sounds about right.
Could be, yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, don't burn your masks yet, but...
No, and like, this is the thing. Like, and thankfully, people are starting to recognize this. You know, people who make the decisions are starting to realize that, like, we can't just let the free market dictate, like, how many COVID tests we're going to produce, because guess what? When COVID tests aren't profitable,
right,
we don't need them, and when they are profitable, we needed them already. So it's a whole thing, and like, you know, we're obviously learning this shit as we go because nobody's fucking dealt with this shit for more than 100 years. So like, not trying to fucking cast any aspersions here, but it's like, it's frustrating sometimes. And also just it's frustrating, not only like having to recognizing like we're going to have to deal with more shit, but it's fucking exhausting just having to watch them fucking trot it out and then run it back and then fucking have to explain it to the idiots all over again. You know, it's like,
right. And then we have our whole new round of trucker convoys and our whole new round of fucking everyone being just completely worn out by it. Right. So, yeah.
Oh, and that's why everyone should just fucking get their vaccines so they don't have to fucking worry about it anymore. And
you should.
We can just start sending all the vaccines to countries that need them. And
I agree.
Fucking get rid of this thing like we did polio and like so many other fucking horrible fucking
fully
diseases.
Agreed. Yeah, and we can both tell you, you know, like, I got my first shot over a year ago. I'm not dead. You know, fucking, I don't think anyone who listens to this is like not trying to get vaccinated.
Nope.
But you know,
absolutely,
we're not dead. We're still just as dumb as we were when we started this podcast, so that hasn't changed anything.
Tell you what, man, like getting Bill Gates' fucking 5G Wi-Fi in my blood, like
I read an article today.
Nothing for me.
I guess they said even there's evidence of brain damage even for mild cases.
Tight.
Yeah, and I was like, well, I had a mild case, but how would I know?
Yeah. Oh my god.
I was an idiot before, and I'm my own brand of idiot now. So.
Oh yeah, me and a friend of mine like don't want to mention their name because you know, not trying to call anyone out here, but friend of the show and someone that you know, like, we're talking about how we both have had brain damage from some gnarly fucking viruses, and it's like, well, but we had that when we were young. Do you think we grew back some of those fucking neurons and like we're actually just okay? And I'm like, well, let's hope so, because, you know, how do we fucking know?
Yeah, it's impossible to tell. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like maybe this is proof. I feel like we've talked about this a little bit, but my least favorite symptom, I guess, that they've talked about is brain fog. And I'm just like, cool.
Yeah.
I feel like I live in a brain fog all the time.
Seriously. Like,
so
that's, I feel like that's why we have a term that's called moments of clarity, because like that's not our normal state, you know. It's like I had a moment of clarity where I realized I've been fucking acting a fool, you know. It's like, oh, so that means our fucking default is like fool, or maybe like not quite a fool, you know.
Right.
Until we hit the moment of clarity, and it's like, oh man, I need to fucking right this ship, you know. Like,
you might be experiencing some brain fog. Am I? Am I?
How would I know?
Yeah,
I mean, this is, you know, one of the reasons I've been trying to avoid COVID is the long COVID effects. I mean, like, I
mean, that's been the most terrifying thing. I never was convinced I was going to die from it because, you know, whatever, I'm 40 and I'm in the demographic that all signs pointed to, like, you'll be fine even without a vaccination. So I was never really scared of that, but I definitely was scared of the long-term effects, of which, you know, they've reported many, you know, and we're just going to find that out for the next several decades, you know.
I mean, so, like, let's be real. If it was some shit like St. Vitus dance or, like, fucking, you know, like spontaneous orgasm or something like that, like, I don't know, I'd dabble. I might fuck with that, you know.
Yeah.
Like, you're just gonna fucking have sick moves every now and then, spontaneously, uncontrollably.
I can tell you the most recent strain hasn't given me any of those good bits.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed for the next wave.
Yep.
Like maybe we get some cool neurological functions that, like especially if you're vaccinated, like maybe you just get some fever dreams and some brain fog. Like, no big deal.
Yeah, dude. Worst X-Men power ever, brain fog.
I can't think clearly, so you can't read my mind.
Yeah.
I'm the only X-Man who can save us.
Definitely.
Wait, what was I doing? Fuck.
Oh, I love it. Hell yeah. Well, so anyway, we had all these things that we wanted to do for the 100th episode. Obviously, many of them just weren't possible, and so maybe we'll do a big fanfare thing this summer.
Who can say, but the hope is there.
Who can say, but, I don't know. I am just the sucker for wishful thinking, but and I'm not even really an optimist, but I have been this whole time, and I'm feeling really optimistic now.
Hell yeah, dude. Well, and I feel like most people by default are like
we have to run out of Greek letters eventually. Like, once we're out of Greek letters, then we're out of variants, right?
Yeah, once we hit Zeta variant, it's like, I don't know, like, we're just going to start giving them old lady names like we do with the hurricanes, this is variant Florence, like, shit.
Yeah, man. Once we circle back on actual, fucking Katrina variants, like, fuck.
Well, like, I'm wondering, like, oh no, that's when they do it. So if another one, like, jumps out of the wild, then that will be like COVID the year that it comes out. Because like, where's COVID 25?
Yeah.
No, we still got to like figure out 19 before we start buying more groceries, I guess.
Indeed, right? Hell yeah. Well, so what we decided to do, folks, is I don't know. We're gonna try this out. We're gonna do Coming Down After Dark.
Ooh.
we're gonna get lurid and sexual.
Ooh, damn.
Yep. Because we haven't like told any like dirty stories on this cast. I mean, I think like we've dabbled around.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about sex in a couple of places where it was like, I fucking had some and it was good, kind of a deal.
Had some, it ruled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've ever like gone into detail about relationships or anything like that.
No.
Well, I mean, certainly I told an epic tale of my journey with someone, but like,
right. No, a little bit here and there, but like we haven't done the virgin stories or whatever. So I figured let's get into that. We'll see if it works. We'll see if this ever comes out.
I know, like we might just be talking to each other with a tape recorder in the middle of the table. Who knows?
Yeah.
If you're hearing this, then fucking wow. No, like
if you're hearing this probably means you've stuck with us for 100 episodes.
Also, fucking kudos to you.
If you're just finding us now, like, holy shit, man.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but yeah. Fucking nice.
Yeah. Coming on the brain fog era.
Right. We've actually become old men who can't remember our stories. Oh, man. So, did you ever watch the USA Network when you were young?
Oh, my God. Of course. Yeah.
So, USA Up All Night?
Yes.
It was USA like softcore porn.
And all night. Yeah. With that, who was that, that big-breasted host of that Up All Night?
Oh, it's not Elvira.
It wasn't Elvira. She was like a knockoff. She was like a blonde bimbo-y Elvira who did the USA Up All Night.
Yeah. Yep. but when you pitched this as Coming Down After Dark, I was just like, oh, USA Up All Night.
Dude,
yeah, like
Up All Night was key, man. And
the dirty, perverted fucking middle school fucking, if you could stay up that late, you might get a boner shows, For sure.
And that's how I watched all of my horror movies as a kid, heavily edited right. Friday the 13th.
Yeah, 45-minute slasher flicks.
Literally, right? Yeah. And that was part of the thing, too, right? Because it was a horror movie that they had to basically cut down to half length. And so then they had to pad it in with a host. And so then they got this, sexy host who would come in like on all the commercial breaks and like, I don't know, dance around. I don't even remember what she did.
She
really.
like explained the plot that they had to cut. Basically,
that's what she would do.
Just like, what will they do? And like then it would be like a bunch of teenagers having a conversation, and then like they cut to commercial again because like they can't show all the actual scary shit. Like,
But yeah, I mean, to this day, that's probably how I've seen all the Friday the 13th. I don't think I've actually watched most or any of them in their full uncut glory.
Yeah, I mean, I want to say that the first one isn't trash. That it's like got a place in the pantheon.
I can confirm
of, like horror history, but
yeah, and I
don't know that I've ever.
Well, in the first one, Jason's not even in the first one. He's a dead kid. His mom's the one running around killing everyone, and then he doesn't even show up till
about these movies.
Yeah. I only know that because like I'm a horror guy and I follow this stuff, but I can't remember even watching that movie.
Yeah, they just always seem so fucking bad.
Well, they are. Yeah, they're super cheesy, and but they.
I came into Nightmare on Elm Street on part 3, the Dream Masters.
Oh yeah, or the Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors, yeah. And like this, I think I was watching it with my D&D group, so it was just like fucking, just pure fucking fantasy fulfillment for us, It was just like, all right, cool, the D&D kids get to win in Dream World. Like,
I can yeah, totally. Oh, that is what that one is.
That is in no way a horror flick.
I can confirm the first Nightmare on Elm Street, it like holds up. That movie's genuinely kind of scary and like pretty well done. But that was old school Wes Craven, and he knew how to make a good scary movie. But but I mean, it's also like ridiculous because Freddy's like all bad mouthed and like foul mouthed, and like it's just it's so cheesy.
Right.
No, actually, this is a decent place to start too. Yeah, like what was your like sexual awakening? Before you ever had a girlfriend or like kissed a girl or did any sexy actual stuff with anyone. What was the stuff that made you start thinking like, oh, here's the thing I could be doing?
Like, it's weird for me because like I don't want to throw anybody under the bus too hard, but like the first time I ever even like really thought about it too much was like that I can remember, because I was really fucking young at the time, was when I fucking found some magazines under my dad's bed.
Porno, yeah.
And like it was Penthouse, which was like
the dirtier stuff.
It was dirtier, but it wasn't raunchy.
No.
It was considered to be like racy but tasteful at the time.
It wasn't so like Penthouse was like there wasn't penetration and there wasn't dicks, right? But it would be like girls like spread eagle and stuff.
There were dicks.
Were there dicks?
Yeah, I mean, like it was always like it looks like something's about to happen.
Yeah.
Deal, and like a lot of like artful posing and stuff.
Yeah. But compared to Playboy, which was like no spread eagle.
Playboy is just naked women, and you might get to see like a little bit of vagina at some point.
A little bit,
but, like, it's mostly just boobs and like poses. But like, Penthouse was trying to show sex without actually showing penetration.
Right.
And so it was kind of a bold choice that my folks were like, well, okay. I mean, we don't want to make him think it's weird, so like we'll let you look at it,
Oh, they were just like, if you ever need to check this out, it's here.
Well, it was like, this is Dad's private stuff. You shouldn't go through his room, but it's okay.
But they made you aware it was there? Or did you find it first?
I was like crawling around under their bed and found a magazine.
Oh.
And they caught me looking at it.
How old were you?
I couldn't have been older than like 5. I think I was like 3 or 4. Probably no, I had to be older than 4. So it was like between the age of 4 and 5, or between the age of 4 and 6, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And a very short time later, like probably no more than 6 issues later, there was a lesbian scene.
Oh.
That again didn't have any real like genital touching, but you know, it was strongly implied. You know? And then that was off limits.
Oh, that's where they drew the line.
Well, just all of it was off limits at that point.
Okay.
It's like, you know what? This is adult stuff, and we don't think that it's appropriate for you guys to be looking at this.
But like, it wasn't off limits before that?
Nope, because they were like, well, it's just natural, you know, it's just sex. Like, who cares? You know, they're fucking hippies, and like.
So it was very much of like, hey, don't go rooting through your dad's stuff, but like, if you find it and see it, we're not gonna like worry that much.
Right, because and like, to their credit, they just were trying not to weird me out about sex.
I mean, that's,
you know, and
actually
like,
pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and so like, I'm definitely in no way trying to shame them here.
No, absolutely not. I'm just trying to get the logic, because it's almost an impossible logic as a parent, I think, right?
Fuck,
like,
man.
What you expose your kid to, how you treat it, and then it's just like...
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, because, you don't want
You're going to fuck them up somehow.
Yeah, you don't want them to have this whole wrong impression, right?
Like, they're going to get fucked up. Like, it's too complex of a concept for kids to actually understand. So they're going to get something wrong. But, you know, you're just trying to minimize the damage. In my mind. And so,
I mean,
you know, they were like, well, as long as we don't make them think that sex is weird and that, like, that looking at people having sex is taboo, then, like,
right,
who cares, right?
Right.
Then Penthouse had to go and fuck everything up by throwing some lesbians in.
Oh, man. Like, now it's confusing. Now it's just confusing.
How the hell are we going to explain lesbians to our kids?
But had they explained... you know, the biology of it? Did they show you anything? Like, when I was about 5, I want to say, my folks showed me, like, a little cartoon.
I don't remember exactly where in this whole timeline my mom became pregnant with my brother. But at some point, whether it was before or after the taboo, I'm not sure. But at some point, my mom became pregnant with my brother, and it was at that point... It was on Easter when they did the pregnancy test, strangely enough. My dad came charging down the stairs, just full of joy, brimming with joy, and says, you guys, you're gonna have a brother. And we're like, cool. How did that happen? And he's like, whoa, put the brakes on. I'm not under interrogation here. And we're like, no, that's cool. We're stoked. We're like, yeah, we're fucking sick of each other. Like, somebody else in this mix would be tight, but like really, how does that happen?
But yeah, also, where do babies come from? Yeah.
Because, like, this has come up before, and we've never had a real good answer.
Yeah, we sort of got stonewalled.
And, like, you know, here you are. Just like telling us about stuff, so like explain yourself. And well, your mother's gonna want to talk to you about this too. And so, you know, she comes downstairs like a few minutes later and is like, you know, like just so happy and like having a great day, and it's Easter, and Dad's just like, so let's talk to these kids about sex.
Oh,
she's like, what have you done? Apparently that wasn't part of the plan, but Dad was just so excited.
Yeah.
That's right. He tried to put it off, but we wouldn't leave it alone. So she walks in, and he's like, so the penis, when it's in the vagina, you know, the man gets really excited, and sperm comes out of his penis. And that sperm is going to fertilize an egg.
So he's giving you the whole birds and bees talk.
Like, just fucking using medical jargon and the whole thing, you know, and like the sperm's going to fertilize the egg that's in the woman's uterus, which is at the back of her vagina. And it's like,
oh boy.
All right, so back this up a couple of steps for me, Chief. And Mom's just like, what are you doing? One of them is 5 and the other one's 4. Like, we can't do this right now.
You gotta kind of do it around then. I think feel like
might have even been like 4 and 3. I don't remember.
So,
but like,
my folks had a little cartoon, like a little VHS cartoon.
Shut up.
But like, I think it was legit. It was made by some hippies for sure.
Okay.
Because it was of that era. It was like, you know, we'll rent the Point and this thing.
The Point was sick.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Love the Point.
But yeah, it was like from that era. Yeah, and it was just this like same kind of animation style as like, you know, The Point and like stuff from the 70s.
Yeah, nice.
Like this thing was probably made in like 72 or something.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was just like, you know, naked people, and it was using all medical jargon and nothing too graphic, but very much just like, yeah, penis, vagina, sperm, egg, like, yeah, I was like, okay. And they showed that to me when I was like 5, and I was like, hope that's good enough. Because I know they probably didn't want to have the conversation, you know?
Right.
And it was more or less good enough. I mean, you know, it was fine.
Hell yeah. Well, and I think shortly after that, I want to say it was Nova produced like this whole like in utero series where they like have cameras inside of a woman like all through pregnancy, and like
yeah,
you can see some crazy shit, and like it even shows like the penis entering the fucking vagina and stuff, and like, you know, my folks were like, oh, I don't know, and it was like, I mean, like that can't even see, like,
right,
that's just a sandworm, you know, but
I mean, yeah,
you know, but then it
probably
showed,
a whole fetish now, but
well, fucking absolutely. But you know, then it showed the fetus, like, you know, in the birth canal, and like
GoPro on my dick,
right? Oh, whole new genre, dude. Yeah. Like, we could be pioneers. But yeah, you know, it showed the birth canal, and like, you know, all the stages of the fetus. And
yeah,
like,
I think I actually watched this too at some point.
That was
in my life, maybe in health class in junior high or something.
Oh, yeah.
But
that was pretty cool. You know, like we definitely felt like we got more out of that than we had before. But yeah, we learned at a very early age.
Yeah.
How it all worked, and like once the taboo got thrown down on the pornography, that was when it kind of became like a challenge.
Oh yeah, right.
And it was like, oh, you don't want me to see this. Guess what? I'm pretty sure I can still look at it pretty much whenever I want, because you're not watching it all the time.
Right.
And truth be told, the thing that I really enjoyed about them was the comics in the back.
Yeah.
Just because I liked comics.
Right.
And like, there were boobs in these comics. And
right.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
You know? And like,
yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, the porn was cool too. I'm not saying that like I didn't enjoy it, but like,
yeah,
that wasn't why I was like crawling under the bed to find the next issue.
Right.
It was because I wanted to see the next fucking comics.
Oh man, so you were like hitting it regularly, just like going in, just like, oh, new issues out.
I mean, I knew that he hadn't stopped getting them,
and they didn't. Know? They weren't changing up the location at all.
I mean, I don't remember it that well, but I certainly remember that I had enough time to figure out where they were if they did change the location. And this is something that I should mention, like, maybe it's just because we're particularly like competitive, like curious people, but like me and my siblings figured out at a very early age how to snoop through all of my parents' shit.
Yeah.
and put stuff back in such a way that they would never know that we moved it. And like, we knew every single thing that was in their house. Yeah. After a certain age. And like,
that's also just like a thing you do because you're bored, right?
Yeah,
it's just like, I just need to know where everything is,
right?
And like, what's going on.
We got really good at like walking through the house silently at night, you know, because we just wanted to fucking sneak around, and like,
you knew where the creak in the floorboard was.
Exactly.
Yep, exactly.
So like, we just, after a certain point, we were just fucking ninjas and expert spies.
Yep.
You know.
Yep. Dude, every kid is this, you know, like,
I mean, everyone who's cool.
100%, man. Yeah. So I grew up, so, you know, my dad left the house when I was like 4 or 5. Not that I think my dad was a porn guy ever. If he was, I never found his stash. My mom was not a porn lady. As many women aren't, you know. That was collecting the mags in the 80s was like a dude move for sure, right?
Also, like, I'm like, you know, I wasn't around, so like, I wasn't in the market back then, so I can't say for sure. But I want to say that like, the market for porn for women back then was small,
fucking non-existent, probably,
at best, and like, probably only catered to a few different tastes. You know?
Playboy was probably your jam.
Yeah, well, and like even like Playgirl, you know, like
right.
for the 4 women Playboy,
right?
Like, you know, I mean, that was just like some fucking muscly dudes posing, you know, like what was the Penthouse for women back then, you know,
right?
Like,
yeah,
what was the Hustler for women back then? I don't fucking know.
No, there's still a tragic lack of like porn for women, which is like a weird thing to say because it's also porn for me. Like, I don't like the fucking rough, weird porn that's out there. That's 90% of porn that's out there.
Tell me about it,
Like,
dude.
I often Google porn for women if I'm trying to, like, look at porn because it's, like, more sensual and just nice. Well, and, like how sex actually is.
Absolutely. I read an article, and, like, I don't know if any of this is true, like, fucking take this with a huge grain of salt, but someone from the industry was suggesting that, like, the huge boom in incest porn is actually just a means for the industry to get back into doing just straight ahead normal porn.
Oh,
because if it's just 2 normal people fucking, they have to be going at it as hard as humanly possible.
Right.
But if it's 2 people who are just, you know, shouldn't be doing this,
right, then they take it slower and
they can have timid sex.
Dude,
and they can make it hot.
That is 100% it. Because I actually had this conversation with someone recently about, like, yeah, occasionally I watch that, but obviously not because I'm into the incest.
Well, fuck, man.
Thing of it.
If you want to watch porn that isn't gonzo at this point, like, it's one of your only options.
Yeah, it's just that usually, it's usually a little bit more timid sex, and there's, like, a storyline that I like where sometimes there's, like, some shame around, like, it or whatever, but it's, like, I don't know.
It's also some of the only storyline porn that anyone's doing anymore.
Totally, right?
Know?
Yeah.
It's essentially if you want, like, old format porn, right? And you don't want to watch vintage porn,
right?
It's one of the only fucking options at this point.
So, how weird that we found ourselves in that place.
Yeah, it is weird, and I've heard people complaining about it. It's like I want more variation in porn. Like it's either fucking hard fucking gonzo shit, or it's like this weird twee fucking incest shit. You know, it's like. How have we fucking worked ourselves into this pocket, you know?
Right.
And like, you know, not to get too far out on this limb, but like Pornhub is its own weird little microcosm because they got hit with so many fucking suits that at this point they're either just an outlet for channels, like porn companies,
right,
or fucking people who are making their own shit.
Right.
And so
but you have to get verified now to be on their shit.
So they're almost like their own little fucking niche market. And like, I don't know. I don't even know where I was trying to go with that, but like,
no.
It's fucking crazy that like it's gotten to this point.
It's interesting, I guess it's funny being the age we are because we definitely come from that era of like porn, and like your first exposure to porn was mags, like magazines that you found from a parent. Or I actually literally had the experience of finding 3 magazines underneath a fucking train track bridge, dude. Like,
I found some in a bush.
No idea who fucking stashed them there, but absolutely. I found 3 fucking mags in a bush. Yeah, like in some brush underneath a fucking bridge. Like, yep.
Fucking A, man.
And they were like weird ones. They weren't Penthouse or Playboy. They were like, you know, Jugs or whatever it was. Like some real off shit, dude.
Mine was like Cherry, I think.
Cherry,
Cherry
totally.
And like Vixen or some shit like that.
Vixen, that was another one. Yeah, totally.
What kind of weird shit?
And that stuff was raunchier than the Penthouse.
Oh, exactly. That's like all of the off-brand stuff was just fucking like getting in there kind of stuff, you know. And it was like,
no, actually,
even at that age I was just kind of like, man, this is a bit much, you know.
No, dude, 100%, man. I shouldn't get too far ahead of myself. I should bring it back. So my mom didn't have porn around the house, and when I found the mags, that was actually much later. The first porno that I found was at a friend's house. So I had a friend named Matt, and it was one of my mom's closest friends. That's why we were friends, you know. My mom was friends with his parents, and they would go off and do whatever, and they'd leave us at the house alone. And so, yeah, his dad had a stash of Playboys upstairs, and we would go and sneak up there and look at them. And, yeah, I must have been like 7, 8, I would guess, when we were finding those. So that was probably like my first real exposure to like porn and like a little bit of sexual awakening, I guess. Like, yeah, that was and that was very much a thing too of, yeah, we'd run up there, you know, very gingerly pull one mag out, flip through it real quick, get all fucking weirded out, and like put it back and be like, okay, like everything's in its right place, like fuck, okay. Yeah, because, yeah, we did not want to get fucking caught looking at him, but he did just like leave him out, like, you know, he just had him like next to the bedside and shit, so
yeah. You know, like, I get it, free love, fucking sexual openness, like that was the whole thing with that generation, you know, like,
right. And like, it should be a thing, right?
Like, I'm and again, I'm not trying to shame anyone or disparage anyone, like, it's you know, I feel like wanting to be open about sex and wanting your kids to be have like a healthy appreciation for sex is a good thing, you know.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, and American culture is so broken when it comes to that, you know.
Absolutely.
How taboo it is, yet it's just fucking the regular thing, and then they sell it to you and shove it down your throat, and it's just so weird, right?
No, and then, like, you know, I feel like we should also just issue a disclaimer about porn here, where it's like, you know, like, we're very sex positive and have an open mind about, like, all of this stuff.
100%,
like,
right?
We also don't support exploitation or human trafficking or any shit like that.
Yeah, obviously,
you know, like,
right? Yeah.
Just wanting to get that out of the way.
Yeah. No, fair. Yeah. Good PSA there. Yeah.
You know, just covering our fucking bases here.
Yeah, and God, and it is so weird, like, just growing up in this society, like, being kind of like being told you can and can't, you know, like you should and shouldn't. Homie. Like, it's so just weird.
Yeah, like I was told in like some fucking sex ed class, and like, fuck the teacher who told us this, because he was just a fucking like burned out old man who was like trying to fuck with some kids' heads, but he basically told us that like you can't ever like tell a woman that she's attractive or like hit on anyone or like basically suggest in any way that you're interested in sex, because you could eventually be like legally fucking accused of rape.
Whoa.
Essentially. And like I don't know why I didn't question this dude more, but like that fucking sank in with me. I'm just like, man, like, I'm just this gross dude. Like, I can't ever, like, try to fucking make anything happen with anyone, because, like, I'll just be a rapist, you know?
Right,
and, like,
right.
You know, obviously, fucking hormones fucking did a number on that one, but, like, there was always this fucking shitty internal conflict that I had that I think has led to a lot of my asexuality later in life. Like, just because, like, that shit runs deep, you know, and like I didn't do a whole lot of work on it, and like,
well, it's a tough thing, and I wonder how kids grow up now, and I really have no idea, but I think the 80s and 90s kids, I mean, there was just such this like shame around it, but then it was also the height of fucking using it to sell shit, you know, like,
absolutely.
Man. Like,
well, and like, you know, they were trying to drive abstinence home really hard for fucking teenagers at that point, and it's like, everything on MTV is fucking sex.
Right.
And then you guys are just like, never do it. You know, like...
Right. If you paid attention to, pop culture in the world at all, it absolutely told you to be having sex constantly. Yeah. But then it was only shame surrounding it, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, there was no healthy middle ground at all. It wasn't like, hey, you can work on this in a healthy way. It was like, just don't fucking do it, but Jesus fucking Christ, if you're going to, you at the least need to fucking use a condom, but like, God help you if you do.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, totally. And like, and you can't acquire those. I mean, you know, in our generation, they were not handing those out at school. You had to be 18 to buy them. Right. It was very much
absolutely
like, get fucked if you want to have safe sex.
No, like one of my homies fucking threw like what was ostensibly the first rave in Central Oregon, but like none of us had ever been to a rave, so like we didn't really know what we were doing, but like we played electronic music and had some fucking lights and shit, and like people were on drugs, so like that counts. And at the end, he rolled the genie lift out onto the floor and fucking rode it up all the way and had a huge box of condoms that he'd collected from like Planned Parenthood and like every other place that would donate.
Awesome.
And was just throwing fistfuls of them at the crowd, you know? And I'm just like, God damn it. Like we were fucking like,
yeah,
we were doing so good.
You were champions.
Like,
yeah.
like, we didn't even know what we were doing, but like, fuck yeah.
Right.
You know?
Well, yeah, you were just tossing it out because it felt like contraband.
Well, and also because it was like, no one will fucking do this, you know?
That too,
it's
yeah.
like, you know, like, yeah, we can go to Planned Parenthood and like tell them that this is what we're doing, and like they'll hook us up, and like, you know, other kids could go to Planned Parenthood, but like,
right.
Are they going to get a ride from their folks? Like,
I mean, yeah, you could, and I mean, God, in our, you know, I'm sure Bend was similar to Fort Collins. Like, there was a Planned Parenthood, and as a young teenager, like, I didn't know that that's where I should be going to acquire these things.
Well,
like,
no kidding. Like, that's the thing. Like, I didn't know that there was a Planned Parenthood before this whole thing, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, maybe I'd heard that name a couple of times, you know?
Right.
But, like, I thought you had to go to 7-Eleven and fucking steal them or, like, shame yourself
because you
by
couldn't buy
fucking
them
buying
unless you're
them,
18.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Man, what a broken society we live in. Anyway.
Yeah.
So... in those porno mags that I found under the bridge, I think they were, again, I think they were the like middle ground tasteful, like they weren't the like insanely raunchy ones.
Sure.
But in the back page, and I think it was just a penthouse, but in the back page they had like a, you could, it was like amateur shit. They had like a little amateur feature in the back page.
All of the stuff in the back was like kind of another reason to even look at those.
Well, that's where all the stories were.
So weird.
Yeah, and the stories were so like all the made up stories and stuff. But but there was this page that was like, oh, if you want to send one in, if you're just an amateur and you want to send in a picture, you can do that.
Yep.
And there was this picture of this woman, and you couldn't even really see her face. It was kind of a grainy picture, but she was like on her back, spread eagle, and had a wine bottle, like a big, huge wine bottle in her vagina.
That is ambitious.
Yeah, and it was like fucking crazy to my mind, you know, like
I'm sure.
I had
pre-internet,
pre-internet.
That's like some
right, like. And this is so funny, right?
Because
kids nowadays, right, like they just have fucking iPhones. Like I'm sure they have seen
the
craziest shit.
You
want to
see a wine bottle in a vagina? Like you can choose the color of the glass. You know? Like,
yeah, totally. Like kids have seen just whatever, like the gnarliest shit. To me, I was like, holy fuck, man! Like I am seeing something very far from like anything I had seen before. And so I tore that little picture out.
Yes.
From the page, and I folded it up, and I took it to school with me because I wanted to show all my friends, like, you guys think you've seen porn?
Wow.
Check this shit out, dude. And yeah, I showed it to all my friends in the locker room and stuff. It must have been 7th grade or whatever. Yeah, and I just had this little folded up picture, dude, and my mom found it. And she got like super worried, you know?
I'll bet.
'Cause, yeah, she pulled me aside and was like, hey, found this in your pants pocket or whatever. I think she must have done laundry for me or something and like found it in my pants pocket.
Man, that is some poor fucking security on your part.
Well, you know, like I clearly didn't think things through.
Well, I mean, it obviously, obviously, it wasn't like that, like something that you cared about. It was just like you guys are gonna get a fucking load of this, you know.
Which is also like, the fact that I didn't lock that down, like, what even is brain fog?
Well, and
I wasn't thinking clearly then.
But I'm just saying, like that wasn't like a spank bank photo, you know, like that wasn't like something that you were keeping in your wallet for those lean times.
It was not at all, and and so, but my mom was concerned.
Well, I'm sure that's
maybe
what she thought it was. Yeah, exactly. She's just like, so this is what he's into. Oh God.
Yeah, and so she pulls me aside and has this whole conversation. She's like, so what, you know?
This isn't how people usually enjoy wine.
Right, yeah, and my mom was always really good about this stuff. She would always just ask me questions, just be like, so what do you think about this? And I was like, I don't know, man. I just thought it was crazy. And she's like, it is.
Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's not how people usually get down.
not a typical thing. And I was like, I didn't figure it was.
Yeah, we're not trying to kink shame anyone.
No, and again, not trying to kink shame either. But yeah, it was not the regular thing you would see in the or in the early 90s, I guess it would have been at this point.
I mean, I don't remember that being a thing, like... No. Nobody was...
And again, it was like the back page of the Penthouse, it was like the final page for the send it, the amateurs send it in photo, and it was like... No, and I had to, like, explain to my mom, like, no, I kept it because I thought it was fucking... real out there and like real crazy and like nothing I had seen before. So then I had to like explain to her like
there are things that I've seen before.
There are things I've seen before. Matt's dad had the Playboys. We looked at those and she was like,
"Wait, you know another guy named Matt?"
Dude, do I ever?
Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to derail us.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was like a whole embarrassing hard conversation I had to have like at that age, like I don't know, 12 or 13 or whatever.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, explaining yourself to your parents about porn always sucks.
It's the worst.
It really sucks when it's the second or third or fucking who knows how many time that you have to explain why you took your dad's magazines again. Like,
oh yeah.
Well, because they're really cool and they give me boners. Like,
right?
How am I explaining this to you? Like,
totally. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. It seems pretty clear cut to me.
You won't let me have my own. I wasn't even going to keep them for that long, but I forgot to put them back. So, oops.
Yeah.
I still have dreams about that, by the way. Like, occasionally I will have a dream that I stole my dad's penthouses.
Oh, shit.
Left him in my nightstand and my mom busted me for it.
Oh, shit, dude. Like one of those paranoid school dreams or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like,
oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Got busted for porn again. Guess I can't blame it on Zach.
Oh man, but they also couldn't blame it on you if they're just gonna never re-hide them. Like if they're just always gonna be under the bed.
Well, no. Eventually, they just moved into my dad's nightstand because it was like,
okay.
Well, I mean, they know where we're hiding them. I might as well keep them in a convenient place for me.
Yeah, so I don't have to reach all the way under the bed.
I mean, like what are we even doing here?
Yeah.
And so that's why I was kind of like, I mean, why do I need to explain myself? Like,
right.
We all know where they are.
Yeah.
You just happened to fucking catch me before I put him back.
Yeah.
So
everyone knows the score here.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that shit's so wild. Like, God, I really just am so curious. I guess when like Roz and Jess's kid gets a little older, I'll just have to like peek in and be like, how did what's the first porn he finds, like
Good
it'll be
Lord.
interesting.
Yeah.
So all that said though, like, I don't feel like, well, clearly I didn't have a totally healthy sexual upbringing.
No one does. I mean, like,
but no one does, right?
That's the cruel joke, is that like it's, our society has so many fucking shitty taboos and hang-ups that everyone is horribly damaged by the time they even get to puberty,
right?
Let alone adulthood, So it's like, if you have a healthy sex life, that's more just fucking happenstance than like anything that you or anyone else did, It's just that you managed to not get too fucked up along the way.
Right. Totally. So let's fast forward a little bit. What was your first sexual experiences? Like, how old were you? Like,
oh, buddy, this is where it's gonna get murky.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because, like, I mean, I definitely, fooled around with another girl who was my age when I was like 5 or 6.
Whoa.
Yeah,
but in a way that it wasn't. In a way that it wasn't totally sexual.
We weren't fucking at all.
Well, no.
But, she was like, now we're going to do what mommies and daddies do. And, like,
Whoa.
Looking back on that, I'm like, man, you got fucked up. Because, like, her mom, her mom was single. And, like, there's a bunch of issues with her dad. And, like, pretty sure that she watched grown-ups having sex a few times. And it was just like, here's how we do it. You're going to, like, put your penis on my vagina, and I'm just like,
whoa,
I'm not even hard, like, what even is this,
But
like,
you guys are just like mushing bits together
and like kissing. Whoa. And like, like neither one of us knew how to do anything, and there wasn't any kind of arousal happening
No.
that I'm aware of, you know, but like
I mean, biologically there shouldn't have been, as far as I understand.
But we were playing a very hardcore version of Doctor.
Whoa, you know? That's wild.
And
like beyond the show me yours, I'll show you mine stuff. Like,
oh yeah, like we were fully like touching on each other's junk, you know.
Whoa.
And then like not too long after, one of the neighbor boys was like, "Here, crawl under this blanket," you know, and like fucking started playing around with dicks, you know. And it's just like, yeah, some of the other neighbor boys showed me how to do this, you know, and like. Turns out there's other dudes who have like had the same thing happen, and like
I mean
they figure out who the other dudes are who are doing this thing, and like you know, the first dude who was into it was just like, this is just what, you know, some guy showed me how to do, and we, you know, we just give each other boners and play around with them, and I'm just like, all right.
Whoa, at like
that's interesting.
At like 6?
Yeah, maybe a little older. I think it was 6.
Yeah,
you know, maybe 7. So yeah, homie was like, yeah, so dude from down the street already showed you this? Yeah, he's the one who showed me too.
Whoa.
Like, you like looking at porn? Just like, you know, it's like fucking, it's so weird. And like, one of my friends that I went to school with, like, was like, yeah, let's play around with like these Barbie dolls, and like we'll get boners and stuff, and like then it was like, here, let's play
with the intention of getting boners.
Yeah,
that was like
it was like, let's pretend that we're fucking these Barbie dolls, and then there's like, let's play with each other's dicks, and but we'll pretend that, you know, we're girls and stuff, and like like there was this whole like pretend we're straight thing, but we're gonna do gay shit.
Yeah,
and like, but
straight and gay doesn't matter when you're 6.
No, but that was the one that made sense to me. I'm just like, oh, okay, we're just practicing for women. Like, yeah, like let's definitely mess around with each other's bits, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know why, like, that was like what I was like, yes, like this, let's do this, you know? But like. So yeah, most of my early shit was like before I was even close to puberty, and it was all gay.
Interesting, man. Yeah, even the kid that his dad had the Playboys, we never like took that to a level of like, oh, we should do something with each other. But also,
dude, I'm sorry, I didn't even mention my neighbor who was into diaper play and like wanted to put on his sister's diapers.
Whoa!
Sit on the toilet and piss them and get really hard boners. Or, like, I never got a boner from pissing the diaper. In fact, I don't know that I ever got boners from this whole like
from any of this
weird shit that he wanted to do. But like, yeah, he would just get the fucking just hardest boner I've ever seen in my life.
At such a young age?
Yeah, and like that was his whole thing. Like at first I was just like, okay, we're gonna put on her diapers. Like that's weird. Like, but you know, his sister had some type of you know, like what do you call that? A thing where she like hadn't taken to potty training, and so like you know, like she just had bigger kid diapers.
So she was like, a little older, but still rocked diapers.
Like she, you know, other than that, like perfectly capable of carrying on a conversation, etc. You know, but just like just needed to wear diapers because couldn't figure out.
And that's a thing. That's like a totally normal thing,
right? And but I at that age I didn't quite understand it. I'm just like, why do you have big ass diapers? Oh shit. You aren't potty trained? That's weird.
Oh, yeah, right?
And homie was like, no, but this is the best. Like, you just pee in the diaper. And I'm like, oh, that's convenient. We don't have to use the bathroom now. And, like, I, like, started to pee a little bit in my diaper. And he's like, oh, no. Like, you got to sit on the toilet because, like, a bunch of pee is going to come out of it anyway.
Oh, shit. Right, totally.
Okay, well... then I'm afraid I don't understand what the purpose of this is. And then once he got this fucking huge boner, I'm just like, oh, this is a thing for you. And like at that age, I didn't understand kinks, you know, but like...
I wonder if he like carried that on.
That man is an adult baby. Like guaranteed.
Yeah, like surely, right?
No question. Like, I wish something gave me a boner that hard at any point in my life. That man became so fucking turned on when he pissed his diaper. It's insane. Like,
that is wild.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
And at that age, that just proves that it's like, it's just an inherent thing. It's not like you, man.
Dude,
yeah,
we get
so
wired
wild.
real early.
Yeah, it is wiring
in weird ways, and like this is why I like try not to like judge anyone too much about the way that they're wired.
Literally,
like,
yeah.
Nobody can really do anything about that.
You really can't. Yeah, it's yeah. And it's all variation of like totally harmless to like I need to manage this,
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like that's the shitty thing is like fuck man, like sometimes you get wired in a way that like you really fucking need to manage that shit, you know?
Totally.
And like God help anybody who that's the case. But
right.
like
yeah. Oh man. Yeah. That's super wild.
Yeah, so at a very early age I was exposed to fucking hardcore kink.
Yeah.
And fucking gay shit, and like didn't really know how to process any of it, but was along for the ride,
Sure, man. Yeah, it sounds like you. Yeah, and there was no one around to kind of like tell you guys that this was wrong or weird or not okay.
Dude,
or whatever.
This was the 80s. We were all latchkey kids.
Right.
Like, it was like fucking a free for all.
One of those formative moments for me that I think led to me not exploring shit for...
Shit, we weren't even latchkey kids. We were just, like, mostly unsupervised. Like,
right, just unsupervised kids. Yeah, totally. I think one of those early formative things that sort of led me down the opposite path was when I was around 5. Yeah, I think I would have been 5. My best friend lived across the street in the cul-de-sac we were in. His name's Jim. Nothing disparaging to say about, he was one of my best friends, dude rules. But one day we were at his place and his parents were gone. So he was a total latchkey kid. His parents were gone and we were just out back jumping on the trampoline, playing around. And I remember, actually, this is funny, this is a memory that just flooded back to me. We were jumping on the trampoline, like making like games of who we were gonna marry and like what girls in our class we were gonna fucking get with, and we were being like so shitty about it, being like, because he was like, I'm gonna marry Stephanie, and I was like, well, I was gonna marry Stephanie. He's like, well, I'll give you Stephanie if I can have blah blah blah, and we were like, we were like building our own little weird fucking kindergarten harem and shit,
drafting
like
your fucking kindergarten class.
Yeah, drafting fucking kindergarten wives and shit. Like, oh god, how creepy and weird. But yeah, and so we were like jumping on the trampoline and like. We had put the sprinkler on under it because that's a blast. And then
yes.
It was a hot summer day and we were just like, let's strip down, dude. Let's just get naked. Like, what are we even doing? So we just took off all our clothes and we're just flopping around on the trampoline and having a good old time. And then his brother came home, who was probably like 16, 17. And I mean, he was like a dazed and confused reject, like just this, he had this shitty fucking beat up hot rod and long hair, and he was just a total fucking Spicoli, like, dickhead.
Yup.
And he rolls through and he came home and he comes out back and fucking flipped his shit, dude, and was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And started calling us all sorts of slurs and shit and was like, you better not fucking put your fucking clothes on, you little fucking bastards, and like, yeah, and we were just like, what the fuck, man? And he was like, yeah, like, blah, 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 and just like all these homophobic slurs thrown at us and stuff.
I'm just picturing Sam's older brother from Stranger Things, whatever the fuck that guy's name was, like,
oh yeah, totally,
showing up in a cloud of dust in his Camaro, listening to Metallica, dude, just being like,
so,
you fuckers better put your clothes on.
That character in that Stranger Things was literally my friend's older brother. I mean, to such a T. He was a big fucking asshole, smoked, and like just had this shitty car and was just like, oh my god, this guy was exactly that fucking character, man. When I watched that season, I was just like, I had like weird flashback memories of like fucking Mike, dude, of that fucking guy, and was just like, oh my god, I know this guy. I've literally met this guy.
Well, you channeled him so hard that I fucking picked him up on my brain antenna.
Yeah. I mean, it was, and so that was like super traumatic for me because like we didn't even get it at all. Like nothing sexual was happening, obviously.
Dude, you guys are bouncing on a trampoline.
Yeah, we're just 5-year-old kids fucking jumping around on a trampoline naked, dude. And he was just like, oh, you guys are fucking gay and all this shit. And we were like, what what is even gay? Like, what even is this? Like, what are these words you're throwing at us, you know?
I tell you what, if you can't enjoy bouncing on a wet trampoline naked, then there is something wrong with you, sir.
Man. Yeah, I think he was just bummed he couldn't fucking do
Probably
it.
looked so good that he had to fucking answer a lot of questions that he didn't want to think about.
But it definitely shut me the fuck down for years to come on, like, getting naked with friends or doing anything like that. It was just like, well, I don't want to be accused or have older brothers show up or have a parent show up and be like, you know, like, you guys can't be doing this and all this stuff. Because, yeah, he gave us the fucking full business on it. And, like, yeah, and we were both just like, oh, okay. And made it, and was like, you're fucking lucky that, like, Mom and Dad didn't see this happen, and we were just like, "Oh fuck!" Wow. So now we've been doing something wrong this whole time,
Christ.
You know?
Like, oh, we're amoral for getting naked with
literally.
each other.
Well, and that we could get in trouble for it, you know, like you could get fucking scolded and grounded by the parents if they caught you doing this shit.
Well, I tell you what, it would have been way better for your fucking psyche if the parents had caught you.
Literally. Well, I don't know. That kid's parents too might have done the same thing.
Sure, but then it's just some fucking parents being dicks, and not like the cool older brother who's like,
who could have been cool and like shepherded us into like something, you know.
Yeah, but instead he's like, you gotta fear this shit, and you guys are like, okay, I guess we better fucking.
Yeah, I guess we should just feel shame around
exactly
just hanging out naked because, like, Jesus, yeah.
Fuck.
So that was a huge bummer, but that definitely informed like a ton of my sexuality, like, moving forward. And I think, and like, I mean, as I like to say, I am tragically straight, but that probably fucking put the nail in right then and there, you know? That was just like, you fucking straight motherfucker. Like, you wouldn't want to fucking...
I would even say that you're apologetically straight.
Mm-hmm. That's another great phrase, yeah. Yeah, and, yeah, it's not like I haven't tried, you know? But, like... It just ain't in it for me, dude.
You can only lick so many hogs before you're like, this doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
This doesn't fucking taste good. What am I supposed to tell you?
Yeah, what am I supposed to do with this thing? Dude, for sure. Yeah, so I think it's super interesting, though, like, this is where we deviate a lot, because you had a ton of interesting experiences at a young age, and then I got shut down super early, so I didn't revisit like sex until much later. So yeah, like, so you had all this stuff going on when you were like, you know, 5, 6, 7 or whatever, but then like, where did it go from there?
So,
did that just carry on, or was there ever sort of a point where it's like that stuff sort of ceased once you understood like, hey, this isn't like okay to be doing, or not that it wasn't okay to be doing, where you're like,
so
yeah,
there was,
you know what I mean, though.
There was one friend who like wanted to keep like, kept bringing it up. Let's put it that way. Like, about to the point, like, I want to say like right up until about 6th grade or something like that. Maybe it was like the summer before 6th grade was the last time that it got brought up, you know. And it's just like, okay, man, like, yeah, like,
yeah,
sure, like, you know, the porn's still there, like, you know, we can still like get hard dicks and stuff, but like, all right. And
but I mean, like, you guys were like looking at porn together. That was like the move.
Yeah, and like,
but like the diaper stuff had gone away. And...
Different friend with the diaper stuff. That was a. In fact, I want to say that was a one afternoon thing.
Okay, that was like a one and done.
Yeah, it was just like, Mom's not really fucking watching us right now. It's the perfect time to do this weird diaper shit. And I'm just like, hey man, whatever floats your boat. Like, not peeing in the toilet sounds great to me. And then turns out it's just this weird, like, you don't even have to fucking touch your penis to make it really warm kind of thing for you.
Yeah.
All right. That's not my thing. But like, yeah, you know, like, it went on for a while, but then, you know, after a certain point, homie moved away, and like everyone else had chilled out, and then it was kind of like moving into more like fucking overt social kind of like advances, you know, where it wasn't like, okay, we're gonna hook up in secret, no one else can know about this kind of shit. It was more like romantic kind of stuff, you know, where it's like, what's up with you kind of thing, you know.
Well, when it became a little more
Oh, and it was all hetero at that point.
Right.
Too.
It became a little more traditional, I should say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And not just like kids figuring stuff out in a weird kid
Right.
way, right?
And I should point out that like at no point was orgasm ever attained in any of this stuff.
Right.
You know, like we tried really hard to simulate fucking and like, you know,
Right.
like we held our penises in each other's mouths for very long periods of time.
Oh, man.
But we never really figured out the mechanism,
Right.
you know, and like I don't even know if we could have.
And again,
orgasm
biologically, like, not really, from what I understand.
I have a friend who swears he started jerking off at like eight or
Yeah,
something like
and I
that.
think-
Maybe even younger than that.
and
I don't
think
remember.
there's some truth to that, but yeah.
But I feel like you had to be really committed, and like you know the many times that I tried jerking off before I was successful, it was like, cool, man, like this is doing literal nothing for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I like playing with my boner, but like
Right.
you can yank on it all you want.
No, that first time's wild when you're like, wait, oh, there's another part to this?
Yeah, because I'm just like and that's the thing, because I went through the motions all the time because like fucking hormones, man, like boners, and I'm just like, you want to touch them, and so like
Yep.
you know, like I'm like going through the motions and I'm like fucking hammering away, and like all of a sudden I'm like, something's changed.
Right.
This is different now.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep doing this.
Yep.
Oh, it's continuing to change. Things are improving. You know? And
yeah,
like
it is. It is a total like progression of just like, oh, wait a second.
eventually it's this aha moment, you know? You're like, oh, we got there.
Yeah.
You know?
Followed by like a panic cleanup, like, ah.
Oh, see, that's the beauty of all of this is like I was in the bathtub with conditioner right before a shower. Like,
Oh, there you go.
yeah. I was just
No, I was just in bed listening to fucking Casey Kasem. Fucking
you poor bastard.
yeah.
Holy shit. That takes me back.
The sultry tones of Casey
I
Kasem,
mean,
man.
I'm sure you are one of many. But yeah, like I tell you what, you could make a shampoo commercial out of my first orgasm. Like clawfoot bathtub. I start the water running. I'm being babysat by one of the most attractive women I've ever met in my life. Like,
Oh, nice.
and you know, she's only a few years older than me, but she's older, you know, and like, you know, just one of those like lazy morning. There's like shafts of sunlight coming through the window, catching the steam coming off the tub. You know, like it's this old house.
You've always been a romantic, is what I'm hearing.
I mean, it's like the conditioner smells like coconut. Like, I'm just saying, like, if you're trying to make a sense memory of a young man's first time getting there, like, this could be the one that they sell as, like, the generic one, you know?
Yeah.
It's just so goddamn wholesome.
Yeah, mine was sheer terror. It was sheer terror, dude. Just alone in the dark in bed.
Oh, God, what happened?
It's like, oh, what have I done? I need a towel.
I tell you what, everything after that was fraught with peril, and like there's a lot of weird laundry situations, you know. But that one, it just like, oh, man, chef's kiss.
Oh,
you know? Like, God bless you, Jessica, wherever you are now. My babysitter that weekend. Like,
nice. Oh, and that was like the encouragement.
Oh, absolutely,
Nice.
yeah. You know,
You're just like, I'll be in the bathroom for an hour.
I mean, like,
Don't worry about me.
I took baths back then because we had a fucking badass bathtub, and I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna read in the tub. Like, if I was an old man at an early age.
Yep.
And I'm just like, well, fuck. I mean, something's got a little inspiration. What am I supposed to do about it?
Nice.
I'm not going to get any reading done with this. So we might as well try, you know?
Yep. Hell yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
So then, when was your first, like, not just kids figuring shit out. When was your first like proper sexual thing? You know,
So-
like probably junior high or something like that. You know,
Well, I mean, like, if we're gonna be so barbaric as to talk about bases, are we talking about like,
dude.
Baseball.
like,
I mean,
like,
when can we not equate anything in life to a baseball metaphor? So,
I mean, I feel like this is our easy shorthand in America when we're talking about hookups. You know, like, I honestly don't remember exactly the first time I hit third base. There was a lot of second base for a very long time in my history. You know,
actually,
like,
I'm not even totally clear on the
What
bases.
are the bases?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
so let's outline.
Let's establish the fucking
the bases as I understand them.
Yeah,
A single,
First
aka
base.
hitting first base, is just making out.
Just smooching.
Just all, and like, I mean, just a kiss isn't actually
No,
getting
but, like,
the friend
making out.
first, but like
Yeah.
making out, yeah, like a lot of tongue kissing. That's
Yeah.
I was a fucking first base master for a very long time.
Yeah.
But I started to dabble in being a second baseman.
Right.
You know, somewhere in middle school.
Just like under the shirt stuff.
That's just groping a lot of boobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like some real engaged nipple play. You know, like usually also at the same time as making out. You know.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, naturally.
because I tell you what, there's nothing weirder than like.
I
just
mean,
sitting
running
there-
from home to second base is a weird move. You got to round first.
Well, and
to
also,
get to second.
I'm just saying, like, if all you want to do is sit there and like look at someone meaningfully while you're like stroking their nipple, you gotta be the right person in the right place at the right time. Like, that's not something that everyone's up for, you know.
Yeah, 100%, right? Yeah.
Just some like nothing else but boob play. Like,
Right. Just
wow,
straight towards that. Yeah.
whew, that is not a common phenomenon.
Not. It
You
is
know,
not.
I'm not saying that I'm not up for it because I am, but
Sure.
like in both directions. But like, that's not anything that anyone's doing. So, second base is boobs, and then third base is below the waist.
Right.
But with nothing. No penetration. Like,
Right. Mouths?
so mouths is a very unclear concept
Yeah, isn't it?
on third base.
Yeah.
When I was a wee lad, third base was just finger play.
Right. No
Like,
mouths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're doing mouths, that's fucking,
You're basically
man.
sliding
That
into
is
home.
that is like you're that's home base, man. Like
Yeah.
like you know, and like also third, there's no orgasms on third, because again, orgasm home base.
Yeah.
So third is genital foreplay.
Right.
And I don't feel like a lot of people spend a lot of time as a third baseman. Like,
No,
you're
you
not trying to hang out there.
you run
know?
right to home pretty
Yeah.
fast after that.
Like you hit third base.
Sometimes you
and
get caught
that's
in a
it.
pickle where they're
Like-
throwing back and forth between home and third, and you're sort of running in between,
Oh.
you know, and can't figure out which base you're going to
you-
end up on.
Exactly.
You know?
You just don't want to strike out. You just want to get tagged out on that one.
You don't want to
know,
get tagged out. You just want to end up
Yep.
in a place. Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say that for the most part, if you hit third base, you're gonna get a run at some point. You know.
Yeah,
Like,
it feels like you're
maybe you're gonna
right.
need another at bat, but like
yeah.
you touch that base, a home run is in your future.
It's
you know?
so close. Yeah.
So-
a score.
a score.
As they would like
My
to call
bad,
it.
my bad.
As the kids call it.
Yeah, because like home run, that's a whole different thing. But like a score is in your future.
Home runs mean you hit them all in order.
Exactly. Have done. Would like to do again.
Sure.
But yeah, like most of my middle schoolery was like just flirting with second base. You know, it was just like, can we get a hand on second? Like, yeah, we can. It's mostly begrudging and like
Yeah.
we're in a room full of other people watching a movie and they don't want anybody else to notice. But
Oh yeah.
like,
Did you ever get to do any of the quintessential like junior high like games like the 7 Minutes in Heaven?
Oh, absolutely. But we waited until high school to do any of that shit.
Yeah.
It was like,
I feel that.
like, not only did we wait to watch The Breakfast Club and all of that shit until we were like fucking juniors and seniors, but like, yeah, like we were such dorks that it's like, oh, let's play Spin the Bottle.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, but we're really gonna fucking make out now. Like, I'm like, a woman told me that she was basically going to rape me in that closet, and I was there for it.
Yeah. The one time I got into the closet, the woman told me that no, we were in fact not going to do anything but tell everyone we did, so I was super bummed. Yeah. But she was
that
like
shit sucks.
3 years older than me, so we probably shouldn't have been anyway, like, because she was like 16 and I was like 12, 13.
Whoa.
So like, I don't know, maybe shouldn't have been.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, maybe shouldn't have been anyway, but like, I was bummed.
Well, no kidding. You're like, the least you could do is at least give me a peck. Like, come on now.
But we did get to tell everyone that we did, so I was super stoked about that.
That's cool.
I think she did like give me a little smooch, but it was very much like, oh no, this is happening.
When I was a freshman on a fucking youth group trip, I ended up sleeping in a house with like, God, how is this possible? Like we went on this youth group trip to Coos Bay, and the house that I was staying in was senior girls and me, and there was a hot tub, and they all brought bikinis.
Okay.
And it was kind of this joke that is just like, oh yeah, this is our pet freshman. And like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was like, you're getting in the hot tub, right? And I'm like, well, fucking duh. Like,
yeah, and I will be concealing a boner.
Yeah, and they're like, and they were doing shit like rubbing their legs up and down my thighs and like tickling me with a foot, and I'm just like, I mean, I already had a boner. You can see it. Like, I don't know what the gambit is here, but I know I'm not fucking any of you. Right. I'm just here for the show,
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that rules. How old were you then?
So when I was a freshman, I was like...
So 13, 14?
13 at the oldest. So yeah, I turned 13 my freshman year.
Yeah.
And I had a high-pitched voice and was very short. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, I hit the backside of puberty real late.
Yeah. Yeah. Wild, man. Okay, so what age did you lose your virginity?
Oh yeah, so yeah, I was a senior in high school.
Senior?
Yeah.
So 17?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
And like it wasn't that I wasn't interested before then, and it wasn't that I didn't have chances before then, but again, I had it in my head that if I made any advances or like did anything of my own accord, then that was essentially rape. So
because of this fucking health teacher or this phys ed, or what's not health, not phys ed.
It was a health teacher. Yeah,
sex ed teacher. Yeah,
sex ed teacher. Exactly. My health teacher taught us sex ed and was basically like, you boys, like, don't ever do anything because you're basically raping someone if you do.
So I want to defend this guy a little bit because I think he was trying to look out and just be like, hey, don't be shitty men. But also it sounds like he was just really heavy-handed about it and was just trying to like scare you all into like not doing anything.
It sounded to me like, looking back on it, it sounded to me like fucking shitty conservative rhetoric about how like you can't fucking say anything to women now or it's sexual harassment.
Oh, yeah, that's an angle I didn't consider. I was giving him benefit of the doubt of him being like, hey, just like be careful out there and be good to women.
I hope that's what it was.
It probably wasn't though.
But like, man, did
can't even give a woman Spanish fly anymore. You know what I mean?
That's what
I fucking mean.
That's what I'm saying. Is this guy just be like, I can't even say sweet tits. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, can't even just whip my Jimmy out and fucking.
I'm just hanging some fucking brain over here.
Yeah, I just get accused of rape every time I fucking do anything.
Jesus Christ. Boys, don't ever try to fucking tell a woman she looks nice or you're fucking out of line. You know, and so
Fucking
like
shit.
like I said, like there was a couple occasions where it was like me and a homie were hooked up with, you know, a girl and her friend, you know, and like he like got down, and me and my friend were like stuck on second or third base, you know, and like never went further than that because
So like you were in a USA Up All Night feature where like they went up to the upstairs bedroom and you and the other one were just like, well,
yep, exactly.
but you weren't gonna get murdered, that's for sure.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm just like, I'm the one who's getting out of this house alive.
Yep.
And also never getting laid.
And
But,
also not being accused of being a rapist.
you know, knock on wood. But like,
Fuck.
like, I'm sorry. That's neither here nor there. But fucking, you know, like I was very timid for a very long time about doing anything, and like, you know, not trying to toot my own horn, but like,
You already did that in the bathtub.
True that. And how on that golden sunlit morning.
Just a soft breeze pouring through the fucking window.
A fine spring morning in Central Oregon. No, so like, you know, I was timid as fuck. Like, you know, had my eyes on the prize a few times, and like just died on the vine because I'm like, man, either you're gonna jump on my dick right now, or like I don't know what else to do, because like I'm not about to start making any advances that could seem like I'm about to rape you.
Oh, sure, right. Yeah, you were just being very cautious.
Yep. And so, you know, things would always just kind of die down as soon as like we got to the point where it's like,
we're just like, we've been dry humping for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Exactly.
Like, no, this isn't fun anymore.
And you know, unfortunately, like I was involved in Catholic youth groups, so it was like this whole thing where it's like, is this because of religion? Like, who knows?
Yeah.
Like, it was a fucking complicated thing. But finally, you know, I met a girl who was a friend of a girl who was interested in my best friend, and God, I'm being so convoluted because I don't know like how mad people are gonna get about this, but like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
My best friend was...
We're just here for the fucking juicy details.
Exactly.
I don't need names.
My best friend was hooking up with someone, and she was like, do you know who my best friend would be really into? Is fucking your best friend. And so, you know, there was one night where we all hung out, and like homie's mom wasn't home, and they took off to his bedroom, and me and homegirl were just hanging out, and like... We hit third base, and like, there's no fucking ref on the field anywhere.
No.
It's just like
an ump in baseball.
Man, fuck you. But you're right. So yeah, I'm partying down on third base. You know,
Hey, we're gonna get our fucking analogies right here. You know.
Yeah. No umpire to be seen.
Yeah.
And you know, like. This is the most I've gotten down on third base. So I'm like, you know what? Let's convert this. And I went down, and like,
nice.
She was into it, and I'm like,
it's great.
I've never been in this position before,
right?
And she claimed to be enjoying it, and I'm like, cool, because I've never been here before. And she's like, dude, me neither.
Nice.
I'm like, dope. Well. I'm just throwing this out there. I'm down to do whatever.
What if
like you don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. Yeah. And I'm not here to try to make you do anything that you don't want to do, but like if you wanted to do literally anything at this point, so I'm pretty sure I would be into it.
You were very 2022, and you're just like, how about consent?
I was pretty much going to demand it. Like,
no, that's smart, honestly. Yeah.
And like, you know, again, fuck that guy for fucking me up, but like, he also kind of instilled in me some shit that like I'm really happy to have had it.
And this is where we come back together of being a very similar person. We've always been very consent-driven people.
I've said for a long time, once I actually unlocked all of my sexuality, the thing that I'm attracted to is consenting adults.
Yeah, totally.
That's it.
Yeah.
I have no other boundaries.
Totally.
You know? Like, gender, whatever, man. Like, everything's beautiful to me.
No, it sounds like we were very similar in that era, because I was also very timid and didn't want to, like, put anyone in an awkward situation or, like, have anyone do anything they didn't want to do. That said, I was a horn dog as fuck, man.
I'm not saying I wasn't.
Once it became, like...
I just had a lot of porn available.
Okay, and I didn't. So I was just, like, such a fucking horn dog, and definitely, like, would push it. Always requesting consent, and then would get shut the fuck down. Because it was like, I'm requesting so fucking hard right now. And they'd be like, well, you're not getting it. I'd be like, no. But that didn't last too long.
Dude, you fucking miss all the shots you don't take, you know? Like,
it's true. But that didn't last too long. So I had a pretty good run. Once I actually started, like, dating chicks in school. And so dated a girl in junior high for, like, a short time. And and we got to second base. That's as far as we ever made it. She was very sweet. I think she is currently a lesbian, and so it checks out that she never really wanted to go much further. And there was one day that, like, I don't remember how it went down, but I was kind of a latchkey kid at this point, and so one day managed to figure out how to get her to come over to my house, and I knew we had, like, a window of, like, an hour and a half before my mom was going to get home.
Classic.
And I was like, this is it, man. This is so dumb, too. Like, I won't bury the lead. I was 14 when I lost my virginity, so this would have been in 9th grade when I was 13. Yeah, and I was ready to seal the deal. I was like 13. I was like, let's go. Let's fucking score a run for the team.
I feel like that's kind of the average among my friends for, like, starting with sex and drugs is about 13.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 13 and 14 is like
company.
Young fucking age to lose your virginity. But, like,
hey, man,
you know.
It's a young age to start using drugs, too. But, like,
totally
fucking
right.
The 90s, man.
Yeah, the 90s. So, yeah. So, but, yeah. And so we were fucking kind of getting hot and heavy. And she was sort of shutting me down anyway. So it's all just as well. But then, like, my mom came home because somehow, like, her dad found out that she was at our house without parental supervision, so my mom came home and, like, shut the whole thing down, and then he came over and picked her up, and then she broke up with me the next day.
Yeah, that's a major turnoff.
But also, like, I'm pretty sure she was a lesbian then, so I think she was just like, you know what, I'm out on all of this.
I mean, like, can't speak for anyone, but
yeah,
tends to be a lifelong thing.
Yeah. Very shortly after that, a transfer student showed up at my school, and so on day one, like, she was in my French class, and on day one, she was, like, giving me eyes in, like, from across the room.
Yowza.
And my friends were like, dude, that transfer student, that new girl is, like, fucking eyeballing you. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I noticed, right? Like, should I pursue it or whatever? And everyone was like, yeah, dude, like, why the fuck not? So I went and talked to her, like, that day, and, like, I mean, I think by the end of the...
she knows none of the mistakes that you've made.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, she knows nothing about the crappy little guy I am. Yeah, the weird, awkward fucking skater poser that I was.
I totally ride BMX. What's up?
Yeah, I ride BMX, you know, like, yeah, you know, never landed a jump or anything, but, like...
Don't worry about it.
We'll get there. I've got a pair of Jinkos.
Yeah, look at these sweet threads.
Yeah, dude. I had corduroy Jinkos, man. Ooh. Yeah, they were tight. Yeah, and so, like, I think by the end of that day or even the next day, like, we were fucking full-blown dating. Like, we were on, dude. And so, yeah, she was, it was cool. And she was, yeah, really fucking into She was really into second and third base. Let's just say that.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so she had convinced me, because her parents were super strict, and as I found out later, her parents were super strict and abusive, but she had convinced me to lie to my parents and tell them I had an after-school function on X number of days of the week.
This is nice.
And
I like that.
Our junior high was kind of in the middle of nowhere because it was all in new development, like on this edge of town. So our junior high, there was like nothing around. There was fields and then some like construction homes that were currently being constructed. So this was our move, was like I would stay after school for my after school study group or whatever, and then we would just go fucking break in, or not even break in, sneak into like the basement of a developed house and just make out and fucking and third base for like hours,
dude.
And then I'd go home.
Fuck yeah.
And so tons of my sexual experience was from her. And then like and then all of a sudden like so her mom was super abusive, like physically, and and because we would like fool around after school, go home, and then like talk on the phone all night. But we got to know each other really well, and then everything kind of came out in the wash that like she's like, yeah, my mom's like super abusive and like hits me and does all this stuff, so I have to be like super cool, and this is why I like basically can only ever hang out with you like if we lie and say we have like an after school study group or whatever, because we couldn't ever do any. I was like, you want to go to the movies like on the weekend or something, and it was like no, like none of that was ever gonna happen. So this was the only way we spent time together. And and eventually, so I told my mom about this. I was like, hey, I'm dating this girl. Like, I think I did actually get to have her over for dinner one night. Or, like, I think I cooked dinner, and my mom, like, let us have a little date night or something.
That's cute.
It was. I was a romantic. I've always been a little bit of a romantic. And that was the only move I knew. I was like, cook a girl dinner. So I did that. I told my mom, and I was like, yeah, like, her parents are like abusing her. Like, what are we gonna do? Like, can she just come stay here? Because it was starting to get bad too, and she was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't even know if like I can see you anymore. Like, I don't know what to do. I think I might need to like go move to my dad's house, but he lives in Washington. And I was like, well, like, obviously I don't want to see you go, but like you can't fucking stick around. And then things got really bad one night, and she got like thrown out of the house.
Fuck.
And so I talked to my mom, and I was like, hey, can she come stay here? And my mom was like, yes, but this isn't like a permanent thing. You can't just have your junior high girlfriend come live with us. Like,
right.
No. And so, but she did. So we went and got her, and she was like, she can stay here for the night, and then we'll like figure it out. We'll try and like work it out together. And so she did come and stay that night, and then that night, because we put her up in the like spare room, but then I snuck out of my bed at like midnight and came and fucking hung out with her, and then we like got a little more hot and heavy. We didn't have sex, but like that is when the between third and home base happened, yeah, mouths got involved, like things happened.
Sure.
Yeah, it was very cool. And but then the very next day she moved to Washington. She was like, well, I can't fucking stay here and I have to go. So she left, and she wrote me like literally 50 fucking letters. Like, wow. We stayed in touch. We were gonna long distance, we were like, we'll stay together. We're in 9th grade, and it's like, we'll stay together. Eventually I got fucking overwhelmed by it and was just like, I can't keep this up, dude. Like, and what am I doing here? Like,
no, I get it.
And so
I tell you what though, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but like some of the middle school fucking letters that I wrote to some of my camp fucking pen pal fucking crushes, like, like, that's why fucking Shakespeare wrote Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, dude, right? Totally.
Because that shit is just so fucking real, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, man, that fucking teen love, man. Yeah, nothing's more real, dude. You're like, it's important, dude. It's important.
How else can you fucking write a 6-page hand-scrawled fucking letter Like,
and just like love that's real, that's not from a jaded, you know, like from a jaded person or whatever, like,
yeah, dude,
who's been fucked up by fucking time and experience, you know, like
someone who's experiencing their oxytocin unfiltered and just wants to share that with
you're
someone.
Just like, this is perfect. This is literally perfect.
Yeah.
Nothing could ever be more perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
and I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, teenagers in love aren't all fucking idiots, but like,
sure, totally. But like, there's kind of a, you know, ignorance is bliss and so forth,
it's
right?
It's truly wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that didn't go anywhere. And then or what am I saying? It didn't go anywhere. What a failed relationship that was.
Sure.
We never
But no, I mean,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
no long distance relationship between teenagers has ever not failed.
No, totally. Like, and so we sort of ended things before that summer. Summer happened. That's when I like got into weed and stuff, and then high school. Then I got into high school and just like absolutely had no idea what I was doing, because now it was like a fucking new ass world. And literally like fucking shout out to Amanda. Like, she fucking took it all upon herself to come after me.
Aww.
I had started kind of like getting sweet on this girl Melanie, and she even like kissed me a few times, and I was like, oh, this is going great, because she was like super sweet. And then as we were starting to sort of like seem like we were gonna date maybe, or even do anything at all, she was like, you know what, I like you, you're cool, but my friend Amanda and you would just be absolutely perfect. And I was like, really? Who's Amanda? And she was like, well, she's in your health class. So and I was like, oh god, okay.
That's cute.
I was like, well, introduce me. Like, cool, like if this isn't gonna happen, like introduce me. Like, yeah, let's do this. And so yeah, she introduced me to this girl Amanda. She was also a recent transfer student. She had just moved like a few months before. And yeah, and apparently she was sweet on me, and fucking things went incredibly fast. Like, I was 14. We get together one day, and she was just like all over me. We're fucking making out immediately. And then like a week later, well, no, not a week later, a couple weeks later, but we're like talking about stuff, and she's just like, yeah, so like, when are we gonna have sex? And I was like, and I'm still a virgin, and so I'm fucking terrified. And I was like, oh, like, you're trying to have sex? And she was like, yeah, like, you know, obviously. And I was like, well, like, how much sex have you had? And she was like, oh, like a bunch, like, you know. And I don't know if that was true or not, but I think it was. And I was like, yeah, me too, definitely. And this is like the terrible thing. Like, I totally told her that I wasn't a virgin, and she was like, well, great, then we're all set, then there shouldn't be any issue. And so she was living out there with her brother, because also I think she came from an abusive household, and so she had left her parents to live with her brother, and her brother was like 24 or something, and so he just didn't give a fuck at all and just let me come over. He was like, oh, you having your weird little boyfriend over? And she was like, yeah. And then like he was like, fine, just, you know, fucking don't let me know, I just don't want to know what happens. And we were like, cool. And so yeah, I went over there one day after school, and yeah, and fucking we had 15 seconds of amazing sex because I was in fact a virgin. And like, you know,
yes indeed.
Yeah, and dude, and she was so like bummed. she thought I like knew what I was doing, and it was like,
shit.
And I was good at the other stuff, but like,
sure,
once it came time to fucking slide into home, man, it was just like, and we're out.
Hey.
Score for the home team, cue the organs. You know, and like, that's it, man. Fucking yeah. And she was like, well, that was nice. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't, I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know, it was so shitty. But luckily she fucking took mercy on me and was like, it'll be better next time. And I was like, yes, it will, I promise. And it was. And so
what a saint.
Yeah. And so she was, man, like, fucking credit to her so much, because because again, she didn't have any parental supervision. She had a brother who wasn't even really around ever. He was off doing whatever 24-year-olds do. she had her own room, and I could just tell my mom I was staying at my friend Joe's house and just go stay with her, like, for a whole ass weekend.
Nice.
And we would just chill in her big ass room and fucking just fuck like rabbits, dude. And that's what I did for, like, the first 6 months of my fucking, I guess, sophomore year of high school. Yeah. And so, yeah. Yeah, and she taught me everything I know to this day. And then she just disappeared on my ass. It was literally like everything was going great. I'm super in love with this chick. We're fucking having sex all the time. Like, everything is fucking going great. And then she just, like, calls me and was like, hey, I moved back to North Dakota. And,
oh my God.
Like, I'm not coming back. And this is it. This is the end. And it just, like, completely fucking broke my heart. Yeah.
Damn, dude.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy, man. And I was like, do you want to keep in touch? And she was like, not really. Yeah. It was just like, what the fuck, man? Like, yeah, we were all, like, in love and shit. But, yeah. So that's that, you know?
Yeah, I mean...
And then I didn't have sex again until I got, and I guess until I dropped out of high school. So until I was, like, 17. Yeah. Because, yeah, I was just totally fucking busted up. I was like, I don't know what to do now.
Oh, buddy.
And also, because I was super timid. Because she pushed everything on me. She was just, like, took the reins and was like, I will take you for a ride, boy. Man, and I was like, yes, do it. Take me for a ride, because I don't want to make these decisions.
I empathize with all of that. I mean, like, again, feel like that's a big reason that my history has been what it has been, is that it's just been a few strong-willed women who have, like...
Yeah,
made it happen.
Totally, know? Right? Oh, God. And God bless those women, you know? God bless those folks out there who will just take someone who's being a little too timid and being a little too shy about their shit and just being like, I'll lead you to water. I'll take you under my wing, dude, and just show you what the fuck is up.
God, yeah. And, like, you know, years later, having, like, the dynamic explained to me by people who are, like, in it, or they're just like, man, no, like, okay, yes, absolutely, like, consent first, always, but, like, dude, you gotta make some moves, man. Like, you gotta let people know that you're into it. Like,
yeah, like,
you know, you can't just, like, hang out on a base or, like, fucking, you know, like,
there's a bit of a song and dance, and I think we are at this point now, and, you know, the kids out there could tell us, you know, like, how much just clean-cut verbal consent is being asked for, you know, because we lived in an era where it wasn't so clean-cut, where it was like, may we have the sex now? Yes, we may.
It was mostly like, are we fucking? Well, I'm pretty sure that consent has been offered, you know?
Yeah,
it's like,
totally.
Because
right?
I'm not trying to push this on anyone. That is a very dicey fucking gray area to be in, you know?
Yep, totally.
Just because you're fucking doesn't mean everyone's into it. Like,
oh, 100%, man. Yeah. And I've got some questionable moments in my sexual history where I'm like, did I get clear consent or not? And it's just like, it's super uncomfortable to think about, you know?
Well, I've been on the fucking other side of it too, where it's like, I've got a boner right now, but what are we doing?
Yep, totally. No, I it's super weird to think about trying to navigate being a teenager having sex now. Because also, like, when you're 40, it is fine to just be like, may we have the sex? Yes, we may. And, like, everyone's just, like, on the level. Like, it's just so easy to just talk about it clearly. But when you're, like, timid and worried about, like, how you might be perceived and, like, what's gonna, you know, and it's just like, I don't know. And that lasts, like, all through your 20s and stuff, too. So, but I think the kids now are better at it, you know?
They absolutely are.
I have to imagine they are.
I mean, like, by all accounts, communication has increased across the board for the younger generations. You know? Like,
it has to, right?
Nobody's... I mean, there's still plenty of people who are assholes out there, don't get me wrong, you know, but, like, it seems like people are expected to be a little bit better about that kind of shit, so...
Yeah, because... I mean, because anything that's in the conversation, as they like to say, you know, like, that just precipitates down and people understand that and get a better picture of it. Like, yeah, it's so weird to think back growing up about, you know, as we already talked about, how sex was perceived, like pop culture versus reality.
Oh, fuck.
And, you know, and it's just like pop culture tells you to just go and get it, and then reality definitely tells you to, like, not be like that, and just to ask for consent and be fucking cool, dude.
Thankfully, that was, like, one of the only saving graces of our generation, is that everyone agreed that, like, yeah, what you see in porn is not real, and, like, all of the relationships that you see in TV and movies are fucking made up bullshit. So, like,
right,
yeah, don't fucking fall for that. But, like,
right.
You know, that was just the enlightened ones. Like, a lot of other people were like, no, everything is fucking this weird made up bullshit model, and, like,
yeah,
you had to watch out for those fuckers.
Yeah, seriously. And it's like, God, it's even weird that we come from this generation where, like, even the movies, you know, like the panty raids in, like, Revenge of the Nerds and, like, Spanish Fly was just a totally normal thing that was, like, fun to joke about, which is, like, not that Spanish Fly was real, but it was, like, it was fun to joke about, like, drugging women's drinks and stuff, you know? Just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah,
dude.
Fuck all that noise.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty gross to think back on that history. Yeah. So
glad we're in a better place now. As a
I am
society.
too. Yeah,
I hope we are.
Also, so this has been cool. I feel like, man, we only scratched the surface of some fucking After Dark, dude.
I didn't think we would have anything to fucking talk about, but, like,
we didn't even get into, like, one night stands and fucking all the other.
I thought we were going to talk about weird shit that we did, but really it was just like.
Yeah, we didn't talk about weird shit at all. Fucking.
I mean, weird shit we did as adults.
Yeah.
Weird shit we did as adults is what I thought we would be getting into.
Yeah, totally. Well, we'll get into that. I guess we'll do this again. I didn't know that there was this much meat on the bone.
Apparently we like to talk about fucking.
Yeah, I'm gonna get more sexual metaphors like meat on the bone. Before we leave this though, so our dear third semi-co-host Ricky has a bit to tell, and you've been here with us for 100 episodes. So it's only fitting that you just jump in, because you said you had something on this whole subject.
Right.
Look, yeah, it's only a very brief story, which is why it can't be dragged. There's no way to drag the story out.
And that's fine, because we got about 5 minutes left on the recorder.
Yeah, so, but it very much pertains to what you guys are talking about. So I want to say it's like 10th or 11th grade. I'm in drawing class with Miss Wolf, who's just like a very, like, she wears a collared shirt every day. She's a very sweet woman with a very tight ponytail. She is an art teacher, but is, like, maybe the most, like, proper art teacher that I knew. Yeah, she was great.
Literally.
But she was whatever.
A tight art teacher, got it.
Totally.
Yeah, she was very buttoned up, for sure.
She was a little buttoned up, but she, like, tried not to be. She tried to be, like, the art teacher, but it was fine. She was a very nice lady. She was fine. So anyway, yeah, I was in art class with me and my best friend, Corey, and the prompt was something, it had to have been along the lines of, like, okay, you're gonna draw, like, a magical landscape, or like a fantasy landscape. And so I, being a fucking teenager, was like, I'm gonna, like, be a turd about it, and I'm gonna draw Trogdor, but, like, a realistic Trogdor. So it's like, yes. I'm gonna, like, throw, like, my own teenage twist on a thing, but, like, I'm gonna fucking draw, like, what is, like, effectively Trogdor, like, burninating the countryside, but, like, an actual Trogdor. I don't know. I had, like, plans, but, like, yeah, I grabbed Corey and I was like, I need like reference images of Trogdor so I can like build off of this image. So like I grab him because like part of the joke is like between us. It's like that's why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
So
an S and a more different S.
Yeah, and I was like, but I want to make sure I put like the fucking scales on the right side, or the like spikes on the right side.
These need to be constant.
Like if they're not, exactly.
We gotta get this right.
Yeah. So I grabbed him and I was like, okay, we need to look this up. And so there's like the little computer kiosk, like, by the door of the art room, that, like, we go to, like, go to Google image search.
Yes.
In school. Like, so it's heavily locked down, Google image search. You know,
Sure.
It's like, it'll give you some stuff. It'll give you what it can. And so we're like, no problem. We just type in Trogdor, because we're like, at this point, the internet knows what Trogdor is.
Course.
That's not even a problem.
Yeah.
Type in Trogdor, Google image search. Bunch of things come up. There's like a pretty good, like a well-cropped version that I'm like, yep, like I'm gonna pick this, I'm gonna print it so I can bring it back to my like table so I could like kind of have a reference image. Click on my chosen image of Trogdor. What comes to the screen is a very large, very high res, beautifully lit, like completely lit. This photo is like, there were several hands on set perfectly lighting this image. Very high res, beautiful woman, hair done, makeup immaculate, just presented like askew on like a chase maybe.
Okay.
However, her mouth and vagina and anus
Oh God.
are filled to their max with asparagus.
Oh my God.
Like bundles?
Literally,
like bundles of asparagus?
the biggest bundles of asparagus that can, like, comfortably fit in each of those orifices without, like, it getting into, like, a different kink. But again, I cannot stress to you enough, I think there was a watermark on this photo. It was very high res. It was very well lit. And this woman was in immaculate makeup and hair and, like, looked amazing. It was like it was a pinup in a magazine. But every orifice was stuffed with asparagus. So, whatever internet troll did this was a very calculated situation. Because again, it had to pass through.
That was an art photo.
We were at school. Like, it was school filters.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
and we
European
were not
art
trying
project.
to fuck. We weren't trying to like secretly look at porn at school.
No.
We were literally just trying to like find a picture of Trogdor. So when this came up, Corey's sitting next to me. We both just like immediately mouth agape, look at each other, and then like panic, close the window.
Right.
We were right next to the
library?
door. No, we were in Miss Wolf's classroom.
Oh, Jesus.
At the school computer. It's like right next to the door, which like is like the hub for all the classrooms. I mean, we're like sitting right there. It's like, nobody's gonna believe us if
Right.
like we say we just clicked on a picture of Trogdor and then this came up. I mean, like,
They're like, sure,
But
what
I
even is
also
a Trogdor? Is this what the kids are into? Trogdor? Is this Trogdor? Yeah.
Oh, it's
It was
amazing.
absolutely
Oh my
horrifying. And yeah, I even texted him tonight being like, you remember this, right? Just to make sure I wasn't making up. And he's like, oh yeah, it's like
Remember the
fucking
Trogdor experience
Yeah.
moment? Yeah.
And yeah, so it's corroborated. I'll like share fucking screens if I need to, but like it was the most fucked up thing I've ever seen. And like now that I've like come to terms with it, kudos to that troll because that was crazy. But like we were still like babies when it came to
Nicely
fucking
done.
porn.
Yeah.
Like we were getting into porn, but like it was still like mid 2000s.
But you haven't seen anything like that.
Well, and it was mid 2000s, so we were still getting used to like what porn you could search for on the internet.
Sure.
It was still a little bit early to like know where to look for porn on the internet, especially as like a budding fucking high school kid trying to figure out, oh, we can look up porn on the internet. Like, where do we do that without giving our parents' computers viruses?
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Wow.
So, like, that was a very shocking thing. And then also at school, like, I had never seen anything that violent. When I hesitate to use that term when it comes to vegetables, but it felt very jarring. I'd never seen anything like that.
It's a lot,
I'd never
for sure.
seen anything like that at that point in my life. I was a very like tame porn kid. Like I did not.
Well,
it scarred us both, even though we've since both seen weirder
seen
things
worse,
than that.
seen weirder, yeah.
That still is like a
asparagus never tasted the same again.
Oh, he also feels the same way of like that was a jarring point in my life that like you can't forget, you know.
And that's how I felt about the wine bottle thing too. So yeah, like I get it, dude. When you see the first kind of like hardcore thing, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, you're like, oh,
I'm seeing something.
Sex gets weird.
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah. It is not so simple, I guess.
No, it's not just when a man and a woman love each other very much. Like, oh my god, it gets so much weirder.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. Thanks. Anyway, that
dude.
It's a brief story, but
no, I think that's great. Yeah. Thank you so much for telling that.
Yeah.
That rounds out 100th episode and our first coming down after dark. And Jesus, man, like. Fucking cheers, man.
Fucking cheers, buddy.
To 100 more episodes.
Hell
you
yeah.
know? Let's do it.